Imagine being in the first grade, already taller than some of your teachers. Crazy, right? Well, that was me. I surpassed my parents' height very early on at the age of 16 and peaked at 7 feet tall even. Oh, and in the case you were wondering, I did play basketball. My height has been a huge blessing throughout the course of my entire life. However, on numerous occasions, I truly had to shrink. And you probably wonder, how the heck is 7-footer going to shrink, right? Well, I remember being 16 years of age back in Poland, and I got diagnosed with hyperthyroidism and a heart arrhythmia. And I was playing basketball at the time, and the whole world was almost going to collapse up to my feet. I remember being in the doctor's office. My parents were to my right, my doctor was to the left. My mom had tears in her eyes, and the doctor only said one thing: Tomasz, I will have you stop playing the game of basketball. And to me, it was like a dagger to my heart. I had no idea what to say. I didn't even know how to respond, how to comprehend that statement, because basketball was everything for me at the time, and I was not going to let anyone take the sport away from me, particularly at that age and at that time frame. Thankfully, he preceded that statement with two options for our family, or for me specifically, rather. I had to undergo two medical procedures. The first one was hyperthyroidectomy. It's essentially a procedure to remove entire thyroid gland, and in my case, I got removed 75% of that gland, and to this day, I'm taking a medication level to support the hormone imbalance. And secondly, what I had to do is undergo cardiac ablation. Cardiac ablation is a procedure that scars or destroys tissues in your heart that are responsible for sending those electrical signals to your heart that essentially cause the heart arrhythmia. And as I stand here in front of you today, I wonder, what would I be doing if I didn't undergo those two procedures? What if my parents said no? I would still be probably in Poland, living somewhere, the regular life, and definitely I would not be standing here in front of you guys today. This was the first time where I truly had to shrink as a man, as an athlete, and as a professional, and humble myself and realize that it will take a tremendous level of effort for me to get to where I want to be and accomplish my goals. And as a result of those events, a few years later, I was humbled with an incredible opportunity to move to the United States of America and play basketball. And I obviously had a goal to go to NBA and pursue my dreams. I was 19 at that time. And needless to say, this journey was very difficult because from the beginning, I battled with cultural adjustments. I ended up in a small school, Lee Academy. It was a prep school about an hour north from Bangor, about a 5-hour drive from Boston, Massachusetts. And needless to say, we had nothing. We were completely removed from any surroundings, from a society. The closest McDonald's was maybe 20 minutes away. All we had is post office and a gas station. And I remember specifically one experience where I was very challenged from the beginning, from a physical and mental perspective. We had our first meeting, the first morning I got there actually, and one of my teammates decided to be late. And needless to say, coaches did not let that one slide. And the next morning they called us on the football field, told us to lay down, and we had to roll on the grass, 100 yards down, 100 yards back, numerous occasions, after which we proceeded to run some sprints. It was 30 degrees outside, it was raining, the grass was unmowed, it was wet, so I was like, what am I doing here? This is terrible. What did I put myself into? I came to America to pursue my dreams, and these guys are making me roll on the grass. So it was incredible experience, and needless to say, at the time, my English was terrible. As a 7-footer, you become a target of jokes and sarcasm, and my teammates took advantage of it every single time. They picked on me, and it was a meaningful experience to me because I had to humble myself yet again. I became vulnerable to my surroundings. I realized I'm there by myself. I had my teammates, my coaches, my teachers, but needless to say, I felt lonely, and I was curious if I'll ever be able to earn a Division I scholarship and go to college. And I did. I was very fortunate because in 2007, Southern Methodist University signed me to a Division I college scholarship to play basketball. And I came to Dallas with this huge ego, and I thought I was the guy. I came with a great reputation coming from Poland. I won a national basketball championship as a teenager. I played for the youth national team, and I had these dreams to go to NBA. And then I come to America, and needless to say, I hit the wall. It was one of the most difficult experiences that I've ever encountered mentally, because instead of being a starter, leading the team to win a first conference championship, then NCAA championship, I became a bench player. It was one of the most difficult experiences because I played probably 15 times total in the course of 4 years. 2-3 minutes a game maybe was my average, and I started making excuses. I started victimizing myself. I started thinking, why did I come to America to begin with? Why did I come to SMU? And at that time, thankfully, we had a lot of resources on campus. I can't name them all, but I'm incredibly grateful to everyone that helped me go through that journey. But specifically, there was one that I love, and I wish she was here today, Dr. Deb Wade, who was a sports psychologist on campus. And she opened her doors to me, and I think she saved my sanity, to be honest with you, because when I wanted to talk to her and take my anger out, she let me do it. If I wanted to discuss what's going through my head and how coaches this or coaches that, she let me do it. It was just an incredible experience where she helped me understand that this is not only a physical battle, it's a mental battle. And as I was talking to her over and over again, I remember my dad said something growing up, and he said something that is very powerful, and I was able to relate that statement to Dr. Wade, where my dad said, Tomasz, at some point, the game of basketball will end for you, and the basketball will stop bouncing, and you'll have to do something with your life. And that stuck with me, and I had to lock it back in my head, and Dr. Wade said exactly the same thing. She said, Tomasz, you have to contextualize this lack of playing time and this personal loss of yours and understand that this is not who you're going to be for the rest of your life. I had to contextualize that as experience to the point where this experience was not going to define who I was. And thankfully, I was able to finish that and graduate with a degree in marketing in 2011. And I faced yet another battle. It's like it was hurdles lined up for me, and I had to, overcome them all. But I battled with immigration law. I remember it took 5 different visas for me to stay in the country over the course of multiple years, but one time specifically, my work permit expired, and in 2012, after I earned my degree in marketing, I faced with a difficult decision because I had to go to grad school in order to stay in the country. And I didn't plan on it at all. I had about 4 weeks to figure it all out. And needless to say, there was probably 2 programs that were accepting applications, and one of them accepted me within 3 weeks maybe. And I'm incredibly grateful to all of those folks, specifically Dr. Betty Gilmore, who accepted me, but then she said something that I will never forget. She said, okay, you're into the program, but now you have to find out a way to pay for the program. And I go, okay, well, I'm not a US citizen. I don't have any immediate relatives here. I don't have a guarantor, so what am I going to do in 3 weeks of a time? So thankfully, I love my parents because they put some precautionary measures in place. We signed a notary representation so they could take a loan for me in Poland, wire the money here, and I was back in school a year after I was removed from college. I studied dispute resolution and conflict management, and that experience, I think, has truly made me grow up and mature as a man. And that journey was amazing, and towards the end of it, as I was looking for jobs and trying to enter workforce yet again, battling immigration law, I met someone that is very close to my heart. He's here in the audience. I love you, man. Julian Placino. Many of you probably met him or have seen him all over social media, but we hit it off at a career fair at SMU. I was a student, and he used to have a corporate job at the time, and he made me realize something very simple, yet very powerful. He said, Tomasz, you lack compelling value proposition to go and find a job. You have to slow down. You're too desperate. You're thinking only about yourself And I did. I was selfish. I think I felt just desperate. I felt like a victim. I'm going to fight against this immigration law, and I'm going to prove everybody wrong. But that wasn't the case. I couldn't do it. That was ruthless and not really strategic way of thinking. So after many of these recruiters turned me down over and over again, my man sat me down, and he said something that I will never forget. Tomasz, you're 7 feet tall, and this is a gift that you have to learn how to navigate with and provide value first. And that has changed my whole landscape of life pretty much, because I felt like I'm this car and I'm getting oil in my engine, and I was re-energized, and we sat down on numerous occasions, and we were able to put a plan for me to go after the workforce and secure work permit by work permit. And then after securing those jobs, after 13 years, I was in 5 different visas. Again, I was able to meet the love of my life. She's here today, Ashley. I love you, babe. And she helped me stay here. Without her, I have no idea what would have happened. I'll probably be in Poland somewhere. I'm not sure where, but she really has helped me, and I'm forever in debt to you, honey. But sometimes, as I think about our relationship, it's sometimes like I'm walking on the eggshells because she has the leverage. So if we get in a if we get in an argument, or if we get in a little disagreement, she can say, "You're here because of me." So I have to be very cautious and very careful. But needless to say, through all those battles, through adversity, over and over again, I've learned so much in my life. And I've learned the difference between providing value versus expecting value. I've learned the difference between having an ego and being selfish versus being humble, patient, and how to provide value to people first and how to give back. And I've lost over and over again, and I've learned that it's okay. As humans, we need to think, and it's okay to lose some. It's okay if you need help. It's okay to reach out to the expert and get experts' help. That's what I did, and that's what helped me to get to the point where I am today. And as I contextualize all these losses, all these battles, ultimately what I felt is as I shrunk over and again from a mental capacity, it was able to all propel my growth, and that's the reason why I'm ultimately standing here in front of you today. And lastly, I think what we need to realize, ladies and gentlemen, is that we live in a world full of instant gratification. In the world that we expect for things to happen to us within a click of a button, just like we order on Amazon and the product shows up in front of our doors within hours, right? We are spoiled, ladies and gentlemen, and we have to realize that life is bigger than this. Life is about going through battles. Life is about going through experiences that are rich in adversity. We have to make ourselves uncomfortable and realize that all that will help us, because we will learn so much more as a result. And I remember one of my favorite books is Relentless by Tim Grover. He's Michael Jordan's, Kobe Bryant's, Dwayne Wade's former trainer, and he says something in this book that is extremely powerful. And I have this coded in the back of my head, and it says, one of his quotes says, "Pressure is a privilege." And with that mentality, if you have a passion of yours, or if you're seeking to find the passion of yours, I can guarantee you, if you work tirelessly, you will accomplish things that are extraordinary. And in the meantime, you will also look at things from perspective. You will gain this contextualization and understanding what truly matters. And as a result, you'll become more humble and more grateful, and you'll appreciate that much more everything that comes your way.